is a request for review of the City Council liaison assignments, and I'll spare you this, Elaine, and I'll jump right into it since I asked for it. And the hour is indeed very late. I had asked all the council members to reevaluate the liaison positions they had because we're almost 6 months into the year, and sometimes people's schedules change and it becomes difficult to make certain meetings, and so I wanted everybody to reevaluate it. I didn't hear anything from anybody indicating that they wanted a change, but I would like to ask for a change because we heard earlier today about the importance of attending the C.O.G meetings as a sort of a conduit to S.C.A.G in that we have our C.O.G liaisons on various committees. And so I would ask that our C.O.G liaison, Joe Mosca, and the alternate, John Buchanan, would swap positions with and take the independent cities from Kurt Zimmerman and me, and I will ask that Don Watts take the San Gabriel Valley C.O.G position, and I will be the alternate. And if that's agreeable, we can make that change.
Well, what I would say is that I would prefer that we wait to the end of the year, in that I've made an obligation, we've made an obligation to the C.O.G, and I've respected that obligation. I've attended their meetings. There are numerous committees that I sit on for the C.O.G, and in fact I chair some of the committees. So I think that would be detrimental to what we're doing on those committees and to the commitment that we've made. In terms of the S.C.A.G position, replacing me on C.O.G would not replace me on S.C.A.G because I'm a sub-delegate representative, so it doesn't mean that I need to be a representative to C.O.G to be on S.C.A.G. It really doesn't, so I could still maintain that position. So if that's a concern, that will still stay status quo, whether I'm liaison to the C.O.G or not. But in terms of how we've done this in the past, it's been a year commitment, and that's what we made to the C.O.G, and I'd like to fulfill that commitment. I've kept my commitment to the C.O.G, and I'd like to continue in that position, and I think it makes sense.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because one of the committees you sit on is the C.E.H.D committee, which has to do with the housing. And if you review the minutes, the minutes of the C.O.G meetings over the last year and a half or two, you've attended very rarely, only a couple. And also the C.O.G hosts a breakfast prior to these S.C.A.G meetings that you haven't been attending. And I think it's an important time for us to be more active and more vocal. Either they're not taking the role properly because Sierra Madre is listed quite clearly as absent in most of the C.O.G meetings as well as the committee meetings. And I think I think we need to have a presence, and we can make that change anytime that we wish, and so I'm requesting that we make that change.
I think it kind of misses the full scope of what goes on in the C.O.G in terms of everything from strategic planning to the numerous meetings that the C.O.G has. Yes, there are times, like tomorrow, when there's a board meeting, when none of us can make that board meeting due to the fact that there's a reception here in the city. There's many occasions on that where I'm not always able to make it, but I'm a contributing member to C.O.G. C.O.G does a lot of stuff. I'm heavily involved in C.O.G. And in terms of what you're saying on S.C.A.G, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. In terms of my representation on S.C.A.G, it is a sub-delegate representative, and I don't need to be on C.O.G. It would not change. I will not step down from the S.C.A.G position. So whether you believe I should not be on the C.O.G or not has nothing to do with that S.C.A.G position. My mind is set, and I will stay on S.C.A.G, and I will fulfill my obligation to S.C.A.G, and regardless of your opinion of attendance. But in terms of attendance, I mean, if you wanted to, those that live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, right? So if you wanted to look at independent cities, of which you and Kurt sit on, ICA has never had any representation from the city in the last 2 years. You represented us last year, and Kurt represents us this year. In terms of League of California Cities, I just placed a vote at the annual conference. When you were the liaison, you never voted. In fact, you
I absolutely did. But that's not the point of the argument. Is that since it is the mayor's prerogative to make these liaison appointments,
let's look at your attendance record on these items.
That we
have you ever attended ICA? Have you ever
Yes.
attended ICA?
Yes.
That's funny because ICA says that they haven't had...
Ever? You said ever.
In the last 2 years.
You know, Joe, I don't intend to argue with this. Sandy, if I really want to make this change and he isn't willing to make it a friendly change, do we put it to a vote or how do we do it?
You know how embarrassing that
You
is
can still
to
go
the
to the
city
COG. You
that
can
would-
still go to the COG meetings if you'd like. You can still attend. But I think at this point, you know,
I don't think it
I'd like
makes
to see
sense.
that we have some more vocal representation. So what would be the procedure, Sandy? I don't know that we've ever done this before.
I believe that the COG appointment requires a resolution of the City Council. We normally do that annually, and we would need to direct staff to return with a resolution.
Okay,
to the
so we
council.
would need a motion and a second to return with a resolution to change the rep. Is that what we need? Okay, and I guess I as mayor can make that motion.
Yes.
So I would move to direct staff to come back with a resolution changing the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments liaison and alternate position. Do I have to name the names in the motion? Or just... Okay, so that the liaison would be Mayor Pro Tem Don Watts and I would be the alternate.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
Well, I'm going to then comment on this because, honestly, Madam Mayor, this is embarrassing. This is really just embarrassing.
It is.
We put this to a vote. Joe works as hard as anybody in the city, frankly harder, on what he does, and attends a lot of meetings that take him outside the city, not just inside the city. And to sit there and do this now for reasons that I think are people not being upfront about is, to my mind, just passing understanding. You can do what you want. You can make your
Well, I'm not
motions.
sure what you mean about
You
being
can do-
upfront. There's nothing, there is no record of his attendance in the minutes of any kind. So this is a very important time since we're going to be looking at all of the issues that affect the city of Sierra Madre, and I think we need a voice.
She doesn't even
Yes,
know
and
what
I
COG does.
Well, my expectation is that Joe Mosca will be a much more effective voice at COG than anybody sitting here,
well-
since he's built a relationship there that I can guarantee none of us up here has, most especially the people who are proposed to take his place.
Okay, well,
So-
thank you for the vote of confidence, but we have a motion and a second, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
What did you vote?
Don't vote with people, because all is mayor.
Okay, so it's 3-2, the motion passes. Okay, we have one last